much more than that. Recognize, though, that it does release a toxin, and it is lysogenized. That means it's been infected by a bacteriophage. With E. coli, Salmonella, and Shigella, I think I've pretty much treated them all the same on the test as Enterobacteriaceae. Okay, so they're gram-negative rods spread by fecal-oral transmission and cause, in some cases, dysentery, diarrhea, vomiting. I guess the one thing about E. coli that I mentioned, 0157H7, can actually cause, can be fatal. It's hemorrhagic. It can cause the rupture of red blood cells. It can cause damage to kidneys. And then hepatitis. The thing that you need to remember with the hepatitis disease here, there were 3 of them. The first one is infectious hepatitis spread via fecal-oral, hepatitis A. The other 2, hepatitis B and C, are spread via blood transmission, or they're blood-borne diseases. A lot of times spread by hypodermic needles. Sexual intercourse is a method of spreading hepatitis B. And I guess the other thing that you would want to recognize is that hepatitis C is a chronic condition. Okay, so it's there with this up and down fever, acute inflammation, if you will, and then it resides and then comes back. With regards to wounds, just know that we're talking about Clostridium strains that typically are inserted deep into tissues where there's an anaerobic condition already established for the most part. And that allows for them to grow. Clostridium perfringens causes gangrene, and Clostridium tetani causes tetanus.
So then you would have that
necrotizing fasciitis.
Would that be on a wound as well? And
sure.
Would you consider them in this category when you talk about wound infections? Or would you leave them over there with?
Well, it is a wound, and you could consider it very much a wound infection. Yeah.
Impetigo and necrotizing.
But recognize Staphylococcus, or Streptococcus in this case, but we can have microbes that infect the skin and then infect other systems as well, infect the digestive system or the respiratory system. Streptococcus pyogenes is an example. You know, we have some respiratory diseases we talked about that you get, but it also causes the impetigo, the pyoderma condition. Staphylococcus aureus causes food poisoning. Okay, so where would you classify that? You know, that's going to be ingesting, I guess, but it also causes a skin condition. So
these are
we don't.
Only wounds.
Yeah. Recognize that some microbes have the ability to affect various systems. And what allows it to do so is its ability to either bind to the cells of that system. So if it's a microbe that can bind to specific cells of the liver, then it can infect the liver. But if it binds to only that molecule, that's the only system that's going to infect. In addition to that, recognize that some microbes are producing toxins, and so those toxins can have effects on different cells. But again, you got to have the receptors for those toxins. So in all cases, we have to have the receptors that allow for the infection to take place. So that's the new material. Know what a gram, know the gram character of bacteria, positive and negative. Know what the gram cell know what the cell wall is composed of, the structure of the cell wall, the difference between a gram positive and a gram negative. I've already mentioned or familiarize yourself with innate immunity and cellular immunity. For that matter, hypersensitivities. We had 4 hypersensitivities. You have to imagine I'm going to give you a condition and ask you to identify the hypersensitivity, or vice versa. Same with
These will be similar to the last, these hypersensitivity questions will be similar to what we're on the other.
Right,
tests.
right.
We modified them.
Right, exactly. Same with immunization. Remember the little box that we created with immunization? Natural, artificial, passive, active. Be sure that you're straight with those as well.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
I've reconfused myself with like endotoxin versus exotoxin.
Okay.
And the endotoxin would be like a lipopolysaccharide or something on the cell surface.
Yes, the endotoxin is part of the cell. Okay, so it's part of the cell. We're talking about the lipid A molecule on the gram-negative microbes.
And then with the exotoxin, like toxin A and B that's caused by the viruses, that's an exo.
That's an exotoxin. So anything that the microbe secretes, if it releases it and it then makes its way to another cell, that's an exotoxin.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I use them incorrectly sometimes, not purposefully. Anything else?
Ask any of the old, on the old material for the current events, are any of those going to be?
No, I won't ask you about any current events. I won't ask you about old current events. Did you know that this is Lyme Disease Awareness Month? Speaking of current events? Yes.
What about videos?
Those are there just FYI to help you guys with the material. I won't ask you anything that comes off those videos that I didn't discuss in class. So yeah, I would have talked about it in class.
For example, there was one video that we watched about the vaccination, the newer vaccination.
Yeah, the TP spot. Yeah.
Should we go into a lot of understanding that?
No. No. That again was an FYI. The video provided you with the little background of tuberculosis, so I thought that was useful. And because so many of you are in the health field, I thought it would be interesting that you know about this new test. But no, I won't ask you about that. I don't know what else to do for you. We can sit around here and look at each other, and some of you have an exam. Do you guys want to start the exam early? I don't see why we can't. I'll just open up the door and let you guys come in and start the exam. Yeah.